Everyone talks about nausea and fatigue on Ozempic and some of these GLP-1 medicines, but nobody talks about this, or we're not talking about this enough, in my opinion, and that's muscle loss. It's one of the most overlooked side effects of GLP-1 medicines, and it can completely wreck your energy, your metabolism, and your long-term results if you don't catch it early enough. And as a registered dietitian who's reviewed thousands of GLP-1 food logs, I've seen the pattern. Weight goes down, but also so does skeletal muscle mass fast, and that's a huge problem. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to know if this is happening to you and give you a 3-step plan to stop it before it's too late. And stick around because number 3 is going to probably surprise you. So let's get into it. Here's what's really going on. And if you've been taking the medicine, your GLP-1, whether it's Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, or Zepbound, you know that these GLP-1 medicines reduce your appetite, which often leads to people eating fewer calories. Without realizing it, eating less protein too. This puts your muscle at risk. You start losing strength, your metabolism slows, and suddenly the number on the scale doesn't reflect what's actually happening in your body. And the truth is, whether you know this or not, maybe someone's told you this before, maybe this is the first time you're hearing it, but your muscle is your metabolic powerhouse. Other than the brain, you're burning more calories through muscle, and probably more because you've got more muscle tissue than you do brain tissue. But you're burning all these calories, but that's the goal of muscle. It's going to help you burn the calories, and particularly the fat. It's going to stabilize blood sugar. It's going to protect your body composition. And that's really what we're focused on when we're looking, if you're making progress on your GLP-1, is looking at how much fat and how much muscle are you losing. Okay, as we age, we can't help it. We're going to lose muscle. If you're like me and you're over 40, right? Our goal is to preserve what we can. And it's called sarcopenia. That's the fancy word. That's the fancy $2 word. Age-related muscle loss. So our goal is to do the best we can to preserve it. And that's why you gotta try to hold on to muscle at all costs. And faster isn't always better. You know, I had a client recently, a first session with me, he came to me and he was proud of himself that he had just started his GLP-1, and he had lost 11 pounds in 7 days. And while I tried to be encouraging and applaud him, I also let him know that that is too fast, and he probably lost too much muscle. You know, because the quicker you lose that weight, the more likely you are to lose that muscle along with it. One research study that I saw of GLP-1 users showed that 40% of the weight that some of these folks lost was coming from muscle. And it doesn't mean that everybody's going to lose that much, but if you're not doing things the right way, it can certainly happen. And it should get your attention. We want to be closer to 10 to 15% of the weight loss coming from muscle, because that's pretty normal. And that's why scans are so important as you move forward in your journey and losing weight on GLP-1. So how do we know if it's happening to you, and how do we, where do we start with this? Well, the first thing we need to do is look beyond the scale and look beyond that number. Are your clothes fitting differently? Are you feeling weaker? Are you starting to look flabby? Are you feeling more tired? Sometimes clients come in, they say they see strength changes and their energy dips. And once again, going back to the body composition test, they get scans and tests, and it leaves them a clue that, okay, this is not what we want. So how do we fix it? We need to focus on 3 key areas. Number 1, and this is the most common, everybody talks about, and that's protein intake. Usually we talk about aiming for 25 to 30 grams of protein per every meal, or 0.7 grams per pound of your body weight. Now, everybody's a little different. You gotta, making sure that you're getting in enough protein. And so how do you increase your odds of hitting that protein goal? Well, it starts by not under-eating. Under-eating is an epidemic. And this is one of the most common mistakes GLP-1 users make. In fact, there's so many different mistakes. I created a guide. I call it the 5 top mistakes GLP-1 users make and how to avoid them. Just drop a word protein in the comments below and I'll send it your way. So protein. Are you getting in enough protein? Some examples that I just brought with me just to show you. This is what my go-to is now. I'm doing a lot of Greek yogurt, and I'm also doing a lot of eggs. And this is good too, because protein for breakfast is often a lot of times people's biggest challenge. So number one, making sure you're getting in that protein intake. Number two, no surprise, I call it the dirty E word. I do, and that's exercise, specifically resistance training. Now, cardio is good, that weight-bearing activity with, your walking, your elliptical, and some of these other exercises. Any exercise is better than nothing, but resistance training is going to be your biggest bang for your buck. If you could get in 2 to 3 days a week of strength training, that's going to make a huge difference. And you don't even really need a gym, to be quite honest. Body weight exercises work at home. You can figure out what works for you, but just challenging your muscles over time obviously is going to be able to preserve the muscle to a greater extent. All right, so number 3, this one may surprise you, but I'm going to say, how do you preserve this muscle as you're losing weight on GLP-1? I'm going to say sleep. I know, but muscles repair and they grow when you're at rest. So I know you got a busy life, but we got to find ways to cut down the screen time. We got to find ways to get to bed at a decent hour so that your body actually gets a chance to rest. And usually we say somewhere between 6 and 9 hours of sleep for most people. And I would love to know, as I'm curious, for those of you watching this, how many hours of sleep do you get a night? Is it less than 6? Is it more than 9? Tell me, because if you're not recovering, you're not rebuilding and making sure that you're preserving that protein. We talked about how you can maintain your muscle by, number 1, getting in protein, exercising on a regular basis, particularly resistance training, and then sleep, which is kind of a quiet one that people don't talk about that really is important. And if you want to know what I think, if you're stalled on your weight loss with GLP-1 right now, and you want to know what I think the number 1 killer is of GLP-1 weight loss, just watch this next video, and we'll see you next time.